Hello and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News with me, Shana Esprit. Let's take a look at the stories making the headlines this evening. Prime Minister denies reports over Maduke scandal. Major landslide near Kulibistri now cleared. Grenada on swine flu alert as neighboring Trinidad records cases. And Trump calls Clinton a liar for Islamic State recruiting claim. Welcome back. Baroness Patricia Scotland, who will be sworn into her new post as Secretary General of the Commonwealth Nations in the new year, has outlined her approach to each member state. When the Baroness landed in Dominica last Friday, she spoke with members of the media at the Douglas Charles Airport. Every single country I visited, I've asked them what's the top 3 things that will make the difference for you, and I will be doing that for our region. She hopes to help the 53 member states realize their biggest accomplishments by first talking. I represent 53 countries, so what I have to do is listen to what the 53 countries have to say, and then I have to do my job, she said. She went on to add that each of the 53 states are sovereign and must make decisions on their own. The Fire Department and the Criminal Investigation Department of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force are investigating the circumstances surrounding a fire which caused severe damage to a building in Roseau over the weekend. According to a source, the fire began from the top floor of an unoccupied 2-story wood and concrete building on King George V Street in Roseau. Fire officials quickly responded to the scene and worked tirelessly in extinguishing the blaze. The top floor of the building was extensively damaged by the fire. And moving on, heavy equipment has succeeded in clearing a major landslide which occurred near the village of Kulibistri, causing a standstill in motor vehicular accessing early this morning. The slide left numerous individuals from the northern part of the country on their way to work stranded. During the ordeal, disaster coordinator Don Corriette advised pedestrians to refrain from crossing the slide since stones were still rolling down the cliff. Corriette also emphasized the need to have the area stabilized, making it safe for pedestrians and vehicular access. Numerous patients at the Princess Margaret Hospital were delighted to have received a visit from President Charles Savre. The visit was part of the President's annual Christmas tour of the hospital. Savre was accompanied by numerous government officials, including Minister of Health Kenneth Daru, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health Helen Royer, Acting Hospital Medical Director Ruby Blah, and Hospital Matron Letitia Lestrade White, among other officials.
That's a good lesson. Yes, that's a good lesson.
Quite ready.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I am many happy returns.
During the tour of the hospital, the delegation led by Savre visited a number of wards, including the maternity ward, the Winston ward, Daubeny ward, and Alford ward. Other wards visited included the Emery ward, Glover ward, and the psychiatric unit. Traffic congestions in the capital, Roseau, will now be eased as the Dominica-China Friendship Bridge reopened over the weekend. The 2-way bridge, which was severely damaged during the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, was closed for a brief period to commence roadworks. Engineers of the Ministry of Public Works and contractors from a Chinese firm worked to restore access. Moving on, police officers are still unable to discover the extent of stolen files at the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions. Public Relations Officer Pelham John Baptist has the details.
police are investigating an alleged burglary which occurred at the building housing the offices of the Director of Public Prosecution, State Attorneys, and State Prosecutors, located at the corner of Independence Street and Turkey Lane in Roseau, which occurred about 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 17th of December, 2015. The female private security officer on duty at the time alleged that she was handcuffed and locked up in a bathroom inside of the building by an individual wearing a mask and armed with a firearm.
Baptist reported that the individual made a telephone call, invited an unknown number of individuals, and together they ransacked the office of the DPP. The public relations officer noted it has not been ascertained if anything was stolen from the building. However, investigations are continuing into the matter. Anyone with information which can assist with the police investigations can contact the Criminal Investigations Department at telephone numbers 266-5164, 266-5165, and 266-5119, or Crime Stoppers Dominica at telephone number 1-800-8477. Former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum Resources, who is now the subject of a corruption probe, was planning to flee to Dominica before her arrest. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says Dominica neither encouraged nor offered Dizani Alison Madueke residency here, and while he acknowledged that his government had appointed Madueke Trade and Investment Commissioner for Dominica, an honorary unpaid position with the specific remit of promoting and marketing Dominica's trade and investment opportunities, Skerrit said the administration cut ties with her after her arrest 2.5 months ago, pending the outcome of the investigations. Opposition is that the relationship with Mrs. Madueke and all that flows from this will remain completely suspended until such a time as the probe into her conduct as a Minister of Government is concluded, Skerrit has insisted. Madueke is under investigation in the United Kingdom, where she now resides for alleged corruption while in office. The 55-year-old who is undergoing breast cancer treatment was arrested along with 4 others and subsequently released on bail. The Dominica National Lottery Award ceremony and Agents Day was held to honor the lottery agents who performed well during 2015. Sales and Marketing Manager Ken George used the opportunity to show appreciation for the service and the diligence of the agents, and to also give agents the opportunity to share their concerns and make suggestions for improvements.
And the reason for such conference is to bring our agents together to let you realize how much we appreciate your services for us at the Dominica National Lottery, and how much you, being part of the lottery family, make the business of lottery so important for us in Dominica. We also use this opportunity where we give the agents an opportunity to interact with us and to let us know that of their concerns and see the things that they would like to see improved, as well as we at the lottery take the opportunity to recognize you for your services, recognize you for what you have been doing for us, because for us alone at the main office, our work will not be possible.
George expressed how critical agents are to the lottery's success, saying that most of the revenue does not come from the head office, but from the agents across the island and their hard work.
Agents Day, ladies and gentlemen, we normally do 2 things. We go into what we call a remap. Then we go into an award where we show special recognition to agents who performed extremely well. In every family, in every grouping, you'll always find those who excel and those who are doing very well. If you are not recognized or you are given an award, it doesn't say that your contribution is not valid. Every agent is important to us. We do not segregate or figure out that because this one revenue is bigger than the other, that we pay special recognition to them and not the others. All agents to us are very, very important.
A few changes will be made in 2016. The lottery will implement a $500 cash or account credit incentive for those agents who are punctual with their accounts. No more $2 scratch games will be sold, and the no credit policy will be more strictly enforced. Awardees at the ceremony concluded Macmillan Service Station, June's Shop in Maho, and the Top Up Agent Award went to the wine store for the second year in a row. In news from around the region, Silver Airways, Florida's largest intrastate airline, has announced its intention to resume non-stop service to Cuba in 2016. The company has a long history of providing charter flights to Cuba, and given the announcement of a new bilateral agreement between Cuba and the U.S., Silver plans to bring much-needed commercial service to many Cuban destinations in the near future. The airline will apply to the U.S. Department of Transportation to serve most, if not all, of the 10 approved destinations within Cuba, including Havana. And Grenada's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. George Mitchell, says the country's disease surveillance system is on alert in light of confirmed cases of the influenza H1N1 virus, also known as swine flu, in Trinidad and Tobago. There were 1029 confirmed cases of swine flu and 3 deaths in the Twin Island Republic. There was also another suspected death over the weekend, according to Trinidad and Tobago media reports, but that has not been confirmed by health authorities. Michel says the ministry has no choice but to keep its response and the surveillance system heightened to protect Grenadian citizens. And on the international scene, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund completed the second review of Honduras's performance under an economic program supported by a 3-year standby arrangement and a 2-year arrangement under the standby credit facility. In addition, overall investor confidence, as measured by declining spreads on external debt, has improved. The outlook remains just as positive, with inflation low at about 5% and real GDP growth projected at 3.5%. Program implementation for the second review has been strong. In other stories, stressing that his administration has been at this for a long time, President Obama launched a forceful defense of his strategy against ISIS in a year-end review. He makes no apologies, he said, for wanting to target terror groups appropriately and in a way that is consistent with American values. Speaking with Steve Inskep, host of Morning Edition, Obama also urged Americans to keep things in perspective when it comes to ISIS, though he says he understands why people are worried. Steve Harvey is now responsible for one of the most painful, awkward television moments of all time. The comedian, who's worked in showbiz for more than 2 decades, was the host of the annual beauty pageant held in Las Vegas last weekend. But disaster struck when he ended up announcing the wrong winner in front of a live audience and millions watching at home. It might take a while, but we're sure Steve will be able to live down the faux pas eventually. Until then, the 58-year-old can take comfort that he is not the first person to fumble on his lines in front of the world. And U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said Democratic Hillary Clinton was a liar for claiming that his proposal to ban entry of all foreign Muslims into the United States has aided Islamic State's propaganda efforts. Trump's call to ban all Muslims from entering the United States following a January 2nd attack in San Bernardino, California, that killed 14 people has drawn widespread criticism from Republican rivals as well as Democrats like Clinton. During a Saturday night Democratic debate, Clinton said Islamic State is using Trump's rhetoric to enlist fighters to radical jihad. Up next is Ali and Christopher with this evening's sports report.
Welcome to today's sport report. My name is Ali and Christopher. The details of the sports is next. Welcome back. We begin with football. On Friday, Waukee Rollers and MV Maxano Bombers played to a 2-all draw at the Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. Casey Ernest and Daniel Roberts scored for Waukee Rollers, while Jimmy Parilo, Ronson Ravier scoring for Bombers. At the Newtown playing field, Harlem United defeated Dasper Porters 4-0. Owen Matthew registered a hat-trick for Harlem, with Montel James scoring 1. On Saturday, Mahusoko Strikers defeated Nemesis 4-2 at the Benjamin's Park, with Jaron Sebastian registering a hat-trick and Kenny George getting 1. Sean Peters and Chad Graham scored for Nemesis. Meanwhile, in a doubleheader at the Newtown playing field, RIC Kensborough edged out Fonkole United 2-1. Chauvin Dangdeben netted both goals for Kensborough, with Edmond Benoit scoring for Fonkole. In the second match, Grand Fond Young Boys won by default over Gully Dream Team, while at the Castle Bruce playing field, Element Agency's Early Stars crushed the Wayne George Academy 5-1. Ridge Blaze, Tanaka Barry, Roderick Blaze and Cheston Prosper scored 1 for the Early Stars. The other goal came through a Wayne George Academy player. Chris Jolly scored the only goal for the Wayne George Academy. We move to Sunday, where Itasi United hammered Starring and Son St. Joseph 8-0 at the Benjamin's Park. Vernon Joseph scored 4 times for Itasi, with Brian LeBlanc scoring 2 and Connie Roye scoring 1. Itasi also benefited from an own goal. In a doubleheader at the Newtown playing field, Cube Cheese Barbershop Buffet State hammered the RC Doctors 4-1. Dwight Frederick found the back of the nets twice for Buffet State, with 1 each coming from Derrickson McDonald and Anderson Lawrence. In the second match, Canefield Football Club and Trafalgar Football Club played to a 3-3 draw. Tefton Parkett scored twice for Canefield, with Michael Abraham scoring 1. Casey Henry, Alian Christopher and Cameron Aaron scored for Trafalgar. On to cricket, the Vice President of the Dominica Cricket Association, Lockhart Sebastian, says the issues of the teams and clubs not showing interest in the sport unless it's an election year must stop. Sebastian made this comment as the Dominica Cricket Association failed in its bid to host the 2015 annual general election. The meeting was scheduled for the Garraway Hotel, but only a handful of teams showed up as there was no code room to conduct the meeting. The Vice President stated, "When there's an election, there are too many people in the room, as we see like last year." In continuation, he said, "Now we don't even have 3 clubs represented here today." Sebastian also informed that the registration has been extended by 1 week in order to allow teams and clubs to show more interest in the sport of cricket. The West Indies Cricket Board and the University of the West Indies are happy to report that they are jointly contributing US $25,000 to the government of Dominica to help the country cope with the devastation which was caused by Tropical Storm Erica at the end of August. Both institutions partnered to showcase a celebrity T20 match which was held at the Kensington Oval in Barbados. The game was between the WICB President's 11 against a UWI Vice Chancellor Celebrity 11. Both teams had 6 West Indies cricketers and 5 Caribbean celebrities. The UWI Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, said that the UWI was pleased to be collaborating with the WICB for such a worthy cause, and the UWI remains committed to doing all it can to help the people of Dominica recover. Some of the top Caribbean celebrities who played included Brian Lara, Dwight York, Johan Blake, while Sir Curtly Ambrose, his younger peer Shivnarayan Chandapal, along with current players, were all part of the charity game. Top female cricketer Stephanie Taylor was also part of the President's 11. The game, held on September 26, was played just before the men's team toured Sri Lanka, where they participated in 2 tests, 3 ODIs and 2 2020s. Continuing with cricket, the West Indies Cricket Board is calling on the region's top players to be available for the regional tournaments to ensure that they remain eligible for selection for the international competition. With the WICB Professional Cricket League now on a break, and with the third Nagico Super 50 scheduled to bowl off on Thursday, January 7th, there is an opportunity to have the best players compete for regional supremacy in these upcoming events, noted Chief Executive Officer Michael Murhead. The CEO emphasized that the board has looked at its tournament schedule and has placed each tournament at a time that allows its international players to participate in other competitions overseas. The CEO also noted that the board will confirm any additional international tours for the 2016 period, but pointed out that in rebuilding its program, the board is keen on offering enough playing opportunities at home and abroad. The Guyana Jaguars lead the first round of the PCL and are the defending champions. Trinidad and Tobago are the defending champions of the Nagico Super 50, and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel are the defending CPL T20 champions. Still in cricket, West Indies coach Phil Simmons has revealed the team could turn to leg spinner Davendra Bishu as the tourists look to turn around their fortunes on a difficult tour of Australia. Wickets have come at a premium for the regional team, where they managed just 4 in the first match at Hobart. The regional unit didn't fare much better, disturbing the stakes against a Victorian 11 team, most recently taking 3 in a disappointing draw. However, it was Bishu who took both wickets, and Simmons confirmed the team might look to the spinner in the second test. Simmons confirmed Bishu was fully fit despite murmurings about a finger problem. Bishu has played 15 tests, with one of his best performances coming against Australia in Dominica earlier this year. The West Indies will face Australia in the second test on Christmas Day in Melbourne. On to football, Gus Hiddink has been appointed Chelsea manager until the end of the season, the Premier League champions announced. The experienced Dutch coach succeeds Jose Mourinho, who was sacked last week, and returns to a role he previously performed in 2009 when he led Chelsea to glory in an FA Cup. Hiddink attended Chelsea's 3-1 win over Sunderland as first-team coach Steve Holland took charge of the team. Mourinho, who was Chelsea's most successful manager, was sacked by the West Londoners for the second time after a run of 9 defeats in 16 games saw the champions slumped to within a point of the Premier League relegation zone. Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich previously turned to Hiddink in February of 2009 after sacking Luis Felipe Scolari. Hiddink steered the club to a third-place finish in the league, the Champions League semi-finals, and an FA Cup final win over Everton. Abramovich has backed him to have a similar impact this time around. And still in football, FIFA President Sepp Blatter and UEFA boss Michel Platini have been suspended for 8 years from all football-related activities following an ethics investigation. They were found guilty of breaches surrounding a disloyal payment made to Platini in 2011. The FIFA Ethics Committee found Blatter and Platini had demonstrated an abusive execution of their positions. The bans come into force immediately. Swiss Blatter and 60-year-old Frenchman Platini have also been fined $40,000 and $80,000 respectively. Both men continue to deny wrongdoing, and the spokesman for Blatter confirmed he will appeal against the ban and is prepared to take the case to the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne. Platini is expected to do the same. FIFA boss since 1998, Blatter had already announced he was quitting with the presidential election in February. Platini was tipped as the future leader as football's world's governing body and is a 3-time European football winner. He is also a former captain of France and has been in charge of UEFA, European football's governing body, since 2007.
I'm really sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry that I am still somewhere a punching ball, but I'm sorry that I am, as president of FIFA, this punching ball, and I'm sorry for football. I'm sorry for the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. I'm serving now more than 40 years. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for the 400 plus FIFA team members. They are working in FIFA.
And that concludes the Primetime Sport Report for today. I am Alien Christopher, saying goodbye.
Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. Today was not a particularly sunny day, but we experienced some breeze in the area as well as a few scattered showers. Tonight we will experience a brief shower or two. Temperatures are at 83 degrees high with a low of 77. Humidity is 80% with a 55% chance of rain in the area. Meanwhile, sea conditions are rough in open waters with waves up to 10 to 12 feet. Major change from 5 to 7 feet. Winds are moving east-northeasterly to east-southeasterly at 25 to 50 kilometers per hour. The sun rose at 6:27 a.m. and set at 5:40 p.m. Now for the weather synopsis. A strong high-pressure system is the dominant feature across the region, generating a brisk trade wind flow. Low-level clouds moving with this wind flow will result in occasional cloudiness and scattered showers across parts of the island chain during the next 24 hours. Rough sea conditions are expected during the next 24 to 48 hours, with waves peaking near 12 feet. As a result, a small craft warning is in effect for above normal seas and high winds. All users of the sea, particularly on the eastern coast, are advised to exercise extreme caution. Let's take a look at the weather updates for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be partly sunny with a shower or two. Temperatures will be in the highs of 83 degrees with a low of 77. Humidity 71% with no chance of rain in the area. Meanwhile, sea conditions will be rough in open waters with waves up to 10 to 12 feet. Winds will be moving east-northeasterly to east-southeasterly at 25 to 50 kilometers per hour. Sunrise will rise at 6:27 a.m. and will set at 5:40 p.m. And that's all for the morning weather report. Thank you for watching. Until next time. And that's all for the Primetime News. Once again, I am your presenter, Shanna Esprey. Have a good evening.